And I'm going to go into the intro.
Welcome to the mainstream, where we talk and we laugh about life, love, and everything that we have. Tune in, sit back, and relax your mind. We're here to entertain, it's podcast time. We got stories to share and advice to give on how to be the best man that you can live. So come join the conversation, be a part of the team. Welcome to the mainstream.
Hello and welcome back to the Mainstream Podcast. I'm Ryan. This is Josh. Magic Mike. Regular Mike is behind the computer tonight. Welcome back to this very special recorded episode. Tonight we got a little something in the works here. We're going to be talking a lot about cigars with our very special guest, Mr. Mike Palmer.
Mike Palmer.
Mike Palmer.
Welcome to the show,
guys.
Mr. Palmer.
I didn't know if I was in now. Yes. Hey, how you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on the show again.
Absolutely.
This guy, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Quick-witted. Oh, man, that's
It's good to have you
awesome.
back, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you. Great to
My
see
first
you.
appearance went well.
It did.
Not a lot of traffic, but we're hoping to pump those numbers up a little bit.
The
you know?
audience
Gotcha.
just wasn't receptive to it. I don't know why. They couldn't hear anything.
They couldn't. They didn't understand what I was saying.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you coming on the show. You reached out. God, it's probably been about 2 months ago now. It was back in November before Thanksgiving, and you hit us up on our DMs on Instagram, and you thought, well, our podcast seems to be something that you kind of align with, or at least you're interested in, and
Right.
you reached out, and I'm interested in cigars, and so here's the collaboration with Mike BDP Palmer. And what's the company name again, Mike?
The company's name, the cigar brand's name is Powstanie Cigars.
All right. Tell, not that we haven't heard it already at one point or another, but tell us a little bit more about
I'm
the
sure
company.
you've heard of me by now.
You have, we have.
Oh, we've heard of you.
We've heard of you, Big Dick
heard of me.
Palmer.
Kind of a big deal around here.
Kind of.
But yeah, tell us about the company, the brand, and a little bit behind your history as what I would consider, after doing a ton of research on you and your podcast, it's The Cigar Hustlers, right?
The Cigar Hustlers podcast, yeah.
Perfect.
The name of the shop upstairs is called Cigar Hustler.
Okay. Well,
So
that just
the
married well.
podcast was just a natural transition from the show for us to talk about cigars even longer and in a different format.
They're
And
great
then for a short
tasting.
time, we were the #1 rated cigar podcast for about a year.
Were you
Really?
really?
No shit.
Congratulations. That's huge, man.
Thank
That is
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a small niche business or industry or whatever you want to call it, but it was a big deal there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
There's
like that's
another
a good
show
thing.
from can't remember the name of the show. Two Guys is the name of the shop up in New Hampshire. They're the longest running. They've been their longest, but I was able to manipulate some numbers here and there and do some things that they weren't doing, and I got us with more followers than they did. So we claim supremacy over them.
Oh yeah, that's
Hell yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
So
That's huge.
Yeah, let us
at
know how
the
you did
last
that.
trade show, because there's a big trade show for cigars every year. And last year, the man's name is I can't think of his name, drawing a blank. Anyway, he walked by and I was like, "Ooh, hey." I said, "I'm Mike Palmer. Can I get a picture with you?" And he looks at me, and goes, "Oh, you're that guy."
Oh, you're that
So,
good.
I put my arm around him. He goes, No, let's do this. He goes, "You hold up #1. I'll hold up #2 since you're the #1 show." So I had this great picture of me and him with he's #2 and I'm #1.
Well, at least he was respectable enough to bow down, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Kiss my feet.
Kiss
Kiss
my feet.
So the brand's been around about 10 years.
Cool.
Okay.
The guys own the shop for about 14, 15 years now. And there's some bigger shops in the area that would sort of strong arm some of the brands.
Okay.
Don't sell to these guys because then I won't buy from you type thing.
Yeah.
So they made the brand as a way to have a cigar that nobody could mess with. Powstanie stands for uprising. That was the battle cry of the Polish rebels during World War II, and they fought the Germans.
There is some history behind the name, and it's got a meaning. So
Yes, Mike and Greg are both Polish. They're
Okay.
they're first generation. I don't know if they're considered immigrants this way, but their mom and dad came over from Poland.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
The logo. Talk a little bit about that for me, because that's a hell of a logo. Obviously, P for the company.
The P on the cigar there is a manipulation of the original graffiti that the Polish rebels would paint everywhere, except theirs looked more like an anchor. It was curved at the bottom where ours comes to a point.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's why they took the P.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. So your history in the cigar industry seems like you've kind of done quite a bit. Did this start out as a hobby for you, or is this something that like you've had this career for a long time? Because I mean, like you said, the podcast is a very niche podcast market.
Right.
Cigars are very niche.
Yeah, that's very
So as far as that goes, how did you get started?
Well, I was smoking cigars since I was 18 years old, on and off. And when I married my current wife, she bought me my first humidor, which
Okay.
encouraged the hobby even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then once we got married and moved in together, she was a school teacher. And when she would get home at the end of the day, because my business, my original business was a sort of a sourcing agent for products in and out of China. So during the day, I didn't really talk to me. I worked from home. And so it was emails, a couple of phone calls, but it's not like I'm calling China, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
China.
So when she get home, I would want to talk to another person. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the dogs don't talk,
Naturally,
so-
right?
Yep.
Right. So I was like, guess what I had for lunch? Here's the mail. Look at these socks I found in the bottom of the drawer. I think. She's like, I gotta find
They don't even have a hole in them.
Right, yeah, there's no hole in these. Right. I didn't wear underwear today. Whatever I could think of to talk to another person.
Oh, that's
She's like,
awesome.
you're driving me crazy. You have to find something to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was smoking cigars, and I joined this large cigar group on Facebook. But it didn't help because on Facebook, you still don't talk to people.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So I spun off and started a smaller group, and I even used part of their name with their permission, and I made it like a Florida chapter of this larger group.
Nice.
So that I could find guys that also smoke cigars that I could meet in my area.
Yeah.
Well, it sort of took off, and the other group got mad and kicked me out because I was doing better than them. And they didn't like that the name was now associated with me and not them anymore.
Yeah.
So I changed it. So now it's called the Florida Cigar Club, or FCC.
Okay.
We've got about 2,000 to 2,500 members on any given day, because with our group, if you don't participate, we kick you out.
I feel like that's such a great rule.
It is, because there's so many people that just join just to join. And
Yeah.
like will spam their
Right.
advertisements or spam their company.
Right. And we still have problem with some shop owners want to put up ads all the time. And you can advertise an event. Cigar shops have events where
Yep.
they'll bring in a vendor and stuff. So we're okay with that because that gives us a place to go and meet each other. But I don't
Okay.
care that you got the new Arturo Fuente cigar in and it's, $15.
Yeah.
You can't do that. We're PG-13 rated because we have men and women both. We even have
Okay.
a large group of pastors and rabbis and stuff in the group.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So there's no girly pictures in here. It's PG-13 language. There's no
Okay.
F-bombs. There's no, nothing crass goes on in the club. And people have been kicked out for that as well. They get a couple of warnings and then
Yep.
it's, you're out. If you can't, keep your tongue civil, then you
Yeah.
don't need to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, and Meta's doing a crazy thing nowadays. Like I've got some private pages that I run for like garage sale sites here in the local markets. And Ryan, don't look at me like that. It's not that fucking
Private
crazy.
pages for what, Josh?
No, it's like the garage sale pages and like swap pages and stuff. And Meta's cracking down on a lot of their stuff. And so yeah, that's good to see that you've got that page alive and thriving. And you guys have a place here in Iowa. We really don't have a whole lot of places that we can go, and actually enjoy a cigar. Most of the shops here, when you go in, you can only buy, you can't stay and smoke. So
Wow.
they created clubs, and I can't remember the exact year, but it was between 06 and 08, where they outlawed, or banned, it didn't outlaw, but they banned smoking in restaurants and bars. And so there's people in major cities that, around here, Des Moines is a pretty big one. And when I was out there, they had to open up a club where they couldn't sell anything, but you could come and pay a membership fee each month to have access to their facility. They had a humidor that, you had a locker and a key that you got to keep your cases in. So it was really cool, scenario that they created down there. Is the
just
smoke
clearing my
getting to you?
throat.
Okay.
No, it's clearing my throat.
And so, there was
Question.
yeah. And there were a couple places that popped up that, would stay alive for a little bit, then really couldn't keep up with it. So yeah, that's cool that you've got something down there where you guys can all collaborate on and do meetups and events and stuff.
Right. Most cigar guys are quiet guys that smoke at home and stuff, and this gives everybody a place to go, and it's a sort of a can't think of the right word, but it puts everybody on an even keel.
Yeah.
So I mean, there'll be rich guys, poor guys, politicians, garbage men, military people, and the cigars makes everybody comfortable and common and gives them something to talk about.
Absolutely.
We don't talk about politics in the club either because that just makes people angry.
Good idea.
Yep.
So, put up a picture of your cigar, tell us if you like it,
Yeah.
where did you find it? That kind of stuff's what goes on.
Yep. Just like work, politics and religion don't have a place.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to touch on, you mentioned that you have to have people participate. What does that look like, and what does participation consist of?
Well, it's changed over the years because of the size. When it was smaller, you actually had to post or comment, one or the other. Liking wasn't enough.
Yep.
Because the thing is, we want to get to know you.
Right.
And we
Absolutely.
want to know
Right.
where you live. We want to know what shops you go to, what shops are good. So, it's so easy to take. And we used to do this big welcome thing once a week where we would welcome all the new members. And just commenting on the welcome thing, welcome everybody to the club. Just saying that bought you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It wasn't difficult to do.
Right.
Yeah. And we're all on social media, so we all mindlessly
Sure.
scroll
Well,
and we're numb to it. So.
And like that's
Right.
got to be a great way to be sustainable, right? Because then you
Right,
know people
sure.
are going to stay engaged. You know that people are going to comment. You know people are going to be reading and looking at everything, and honestly,
Right.
just staying engaged that whole time. And if they don't, it's sayonara, pal.
yeah.
Right. And brand owners in shop love that fact
Yeah.
because, they get to see who's smoking their cigar.
Yeah.
Yep. And
So
what's
you
good
can
and
go
what's
in
not
and go-
good.
Right. I could drive around the state and hit a different club for one reason or another. That's something else my wife would get mad about. Vacations are, for me, whatever shop's closest to wherever we're staying. And they would know me when I walked in. So it's like having a group of friends everywhere.
Yeah. Like walking into Cheers every time.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a cool feeling to have, man. So when you're smoking your cigar, do you like to take a drink? Are you a drinker or a
I
non-drinker?
used to be, but for health reasons and because I'm getting a lot older and
Yeah.
acid reflux isn't any fun, I've sort of calmed that down. I might have a beer or two,
Yep.
but there's no tearing out and drinking
Sure.
a bottle of whiskey or something.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen some of our episodes, we always do a sip and savor segment, and it's sponsored by Van's Liquor out of East
Oh, I
Dubuque.
hear they're really good.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. And yeah, I mean, they do a great job over there. I was talking to Jeff this week, and Mr. Olson brought down a bottle from Vans, New Riff Bourbon. So that's what we're tasting on this week. Single barrel, 113 proof, 56% alcohol by volume, Kentucky bourbon whiskey. So I always like a good cigar with good whiskey or like a nice old fashioned or brandy. So this is actually a perfect time for Mike to bring this down to us with you on here with the cigars. So we're gonna taste that, and then we'll
Hold that bottle up. Let's see the bottle.
Oh yeah, here's the bottle. So New
Oh, there you
Riff
go.
and Old Tradition. So it's a pretty cool looking bottle.
It's a nice looking bottle, yeah.
It
Yeah,
really
it
is. And we've tried a lot on here, and I would have to say, if I don't know, Mike, would you say this is better than Angel's Envy?
Yeah, so New Riff actually was the number 3 bourbon in America in 2024.
No
Okay.
shit.
Oh wow.
I think it's good. I prefer Angels or Four Roses or Blanton's over it, but
Yeah.
New Riff, it's got a unique flavor.
This one doesn't have the sweetness that Four Roses or Angel's Envy have.
That's because look at the proof.
I think you're crazy. Let it sit on your tongue longer and dilute it with your spit and then drink it. It's sweet as hell.
Normally Angels is like Angels and Four Roses are like 80, 90 proof. This is 113.
yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit stronger.
But it's not as strong as that single barrel special batch that we got that one time. That shit was like diesel fuel.
God, no, that was straight gasoline.
Oh, dude, we had this. We had
I
this
like
one on
this.
here, Palmer. That Mike and I we enjoy a good bourbon. We enjoy a good old fashioned. And what was it? Was it? It wasn't Makers. Do you remember?
No,
Wilson?
was
it Knob Creek?
It was Knob Creek.
Yeah.
And it was like a single barrel select Vans Liquor special. Like it had their logo on it, name, and that shit was like a 125 or 130 proof.
Yeah, it was gasoline. I'm sure some people enjoy it, but that's not for me. I enjoy this. I really do. This is for me a straight sipping bourbon. I don't even think I'd throw this in an old fashioned. So
our show's actually, we have a network. It's called the Hustler Universe.
Okay.
And we have a second show on here with us called Down to Herf, and they do a pairing every week with a different whiskey or bourbon or
Ooh.
something.
So is that
Okay.
like
They
a
do-
cigar and a
yeah.
pancake or a cigar and a waffle?
crepe in a pipe.
Yeah, kind of like
Long
that.
and a bit.
Well, I'll have to go out and take a look because I didn't know you guys had that other podcast. I've been watching your Cigar Hustlers podcast.
Well, it's only audio.
Okay,
with-
okay,
We don't share video. We share on the audio thing.
gotcha.
Because our show, the Cigar Hustler podcast show, we don't take advertisers. We're not industry advertisers. We don't take cigar stuff because we want to keep our integrity.
Sure.
So if we're smoking a cigar and it's not good, we're going to tell you it's not good.
Yeah.
We're not going to get a phone call from from Carlito Fuente and go, I can't send you any more money because you said my cigar was
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Nah, they're good cigars. but
whatever.
still, that doesn't-
Hey, I got a really
So,
quick
go ahead.
question for you, and this is an odd one. You're in Florida.
yes.
Do you ever watch the YouTube channel and podcast Jeremy Sears?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. Over, when you get some free time, go out to YouTube and search Jeremy Sears. I am certain he is in Central Florida, and he's a pretty big name in the YouTube channel as far as like guys elements go and like
Yeah.
getting interested in shit. But he always smokes cigars nonstop throughout his show. Like he's always featuring a new cigar, a new blend, and or a new wrapper from a new company. And he also, him and his wife are very, very big into the bourbon scene down in Florida, and they do a separate podcast from his YouTube channel that they will then do the similar thing like you were talking about, where they'll pair a bourbon with a cigar and talk about it and rate it and do kind of like what you're talking about, kind of an open ranking, like, hey, no holds barred, I'm going to tell you if this is shit or if it's great. I would think he would be a very good guest for you on
Sure.
your guys' podcast. So I would definitely take a look because he's always
Yeah, I just wrote him
collaborating.
down. I'll see if I can find him.
Yeah, and it's like Siers is his last name.
Oh, good. I wasn't even close.
Yep, not Sears like the store. If that was
Well, I
even.
went Seers. I went with
Yep,
that.
yep. So,
So
yeah,
SIE.
Siers. Yep.
You gotta
Okay.
you gotta sears it in there. Sears the
Yep.
flavor in.
And I got a little bit of a lisp sometimes, so it sounds like Swears. Swanson.
Simmy, Swamis.
All right.
Samsonite.
Well, on that note, we're going to take our first ad break here with Van's Liquor on
Cincinnati.
Are you ready to make every moment unforgettable? Well, we've got the perfect pit stop for you. Van's Liquor. Need a rare bottle for that special occasion? Van's Liquor has it. Craving the finest beers for your weekend hangout? Van's Liquor has it. Just over the bridge at 470 Cincinnati Avenue, East Dubuque. Van's Liquor has everything you need to turn the ordinary into extraordinary. Don't settle for less. Choose the best at Van's Liquor. Your celebration headquarters in East Dubuque.
Thank you, Vans, for that advertisement and sponsoring the Manstream podcast. I was over there this week to collect some of our items that we're going to be giving away at our event. We'll get into that a little bit later from Vans, and they got some good stuff. I'm going to tell you that, guys, right now. So if you're in the market for any beer or alcohol, they've got some great pizza and actual beef jerky selections over there, too.
They make pizza there too.
Well, they have somebody that I'm assuming that it's an Amish family that makes the jerky and the pizzas and brings them in and sells frozen pies there. It's
Really?
$5 a 12
frozen
inch.
pies, not like you can get a
Not
hot
fresh.
slice.
Nope, not fresh. And they've got a pretty good selection of cigars behind the counter. So yeah, if you
I
guys
saw a cash voucher come out of their slot machine the other day for like
I did.
$1,500.
Yeah, it was like
too.
$1,300, $1,500.
Someone just won $50,000 on a scratch off at Kelmus's.
No shit.
Swear to God.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
I never win shit.
Me
but I never
neither.
play.
They have slot machines there too.
So in Illinois,
Oh, yeah.
you can have slot machines anywhere. Gas stations, liquor stores,
they are
grocery stores.
everywhere.
Illinois is like the worst, but the best.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah. Think
So
about
jerky,
any
pizza, slot machine, cigars, booze.
dude, I tell you
Weed.
what, if you go there
I
during the
would go
day,
there and not leave.
they do.
Exactly.
They do. If you go there during the day, there's a good chance there's about 10 or 12 old boys sitting there and they're just sipping on coffee and whiskey and just hanging out playing slot machines all day. Every time I go to pick something up, they're there. So we do appreciate you, Jeff, at Van's Liquor, and we'll get you down here because we're gonna do a blind bourbon tasting. Mike said here soon. So
Yeah, I want to do a blind bourbon tasting where the tasters don't know what bourbon it is and we rank them.
yeah. And he's got a pretty good collection. I think he's got about 60 bottles of Booker's special blends. So we'll see what he can bring down.
I'll be able to definitely tell between the Blantons and the Eagle Rare and what they have a unique
I
taste.
hope you can, because my family is very, very heavily Busch Light drinkers, and my wife was like, "Okay, you guys think you know your light beer so well, and you love your Busch Light. Let's do this at Christmas." And she lined up all the light beers: Miller Lite, Coors Light, Keystone, all them beers. None of them got it right. None of them got it right. It was hilarious.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. So as we go back and we talk about cigars with Mr. Palmer, Big Dick Palmer here, I like the labels. I love the cigars. When you sent us 5, I had one right away because I'm like a kid in a candy store or a kid on Christmas morning. You send me some cool shit, I want to try one.
Absolutely.
And out of all of us here, I'm the one that probably smokes cigars the most, for sure.
You're my
And-
favorite, just so you know.
Appreciate you, man. And so I went outside on a cold night and had a bourbon and had a cigar. And I tell you what, these are damn good.
Thank you.
My go-to for a cigar, anytime I hit like a course or have an event, it's the Romeo and Juliet #2. But I like the size of these. The problem that I have with a lot of cigars is they're too damn long. And the smoke time on them is like an hour to an hour and a half sometimes. And I'm not a fan of that all the time. So I do enjoy these.
Our cigars come in 5 different sizes. I sent you guys the Robustos.
Okay.
Which is
Yep.
usually what we use for samples or for mailings.
Yeah, these are great. So we do appreciate that. Now, you kind of alluded, and I didn't overhear it earlier, but there's something special about your label.
Yeah, my cigar a couple of years ago, they came to me and said, because we do some LEs throughout the year.
Yep.
And they said we would like to do you can do a cigar if you'd like to.
Yep.
I was like, I can do a cigar. Like, yeah, you can blend it, work with whoever you want to, and then we'll put it out as part of the line. So that's how the BDP came along. I worked with a company called Cordoba Morales. Z owns that company. That's his name. Azaria Mustafa is his name. He's from Cuba. I've known him forever. I've known him actually longer than I've known the brothers upstairs. But
Okay.
if I was going to make my own cigar, that's the guy who I wanted to make it with.
Okay.
He's got his own little factory in Nicaragua, and he walked me through the process because I didn't know how to blend cigars.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to
And I-
ask.
Yeah, and I probably couldn't have done it by myself. There's no, it would have tasted terrible.
Yeah. What are the fillers that you guys use? Like, where is your tobacco sourced from for the company?
It's mostly Nicaraguan tobacco.
Okay. Okay.
We do use some Dominican fillers,
Okay.
but the wrapper, and there's Connecticut broadleaf. So,
Okay.
You can't use Cuban tobacco, per se.
Yep.
But that's really the only restriction. Mikey and Greg blend all their own cigars. Mikey does all the blending now. Originally, Mike and Greg both did the first 2 cigars. They started with a broadleaf and a Habano, which is the wrapper.
Yep.
And then they were going to pick one, so they did a blind thing here at the shop, and Mikey made the Habano, Greg made the broadleaf, and the votes were so close, they said, fuck it, we'll just put both of them out.
Nice.
So that's how it got started. So we have the Habano and the broadleaf. Last year we came out with the Connecticut. We came out with my cigar last year. We did a couple of LEs with Espinosa cigars. We've done a couple with Matt Booth and Room 101. So, but those are just LEs. So those are limited editions.
Okay.
There's a limited amount we buy. They come in and out, and then they're gone, and then they don't come back again.
Okay. So I've been down to the Dominican, traveled around, and I was able to at one point down in the Dominican go to, it was 2017. Can't remember the name of the company, but we didn't get to do our own, but we got to watch all of the hand rolled cigars being made. And I tell you what, that's a craft.
Yeah, it's an art form. It is.
It truly is.
I can't roll a cigar to save my life.
Really?
Yeah. I thought like, okay, maybe I could get my hand trying at rolling sushi. What the fuck, right?
Right.
Like how easy is that? You see these guys in the restaurants just rolling sushi. And I tried it and failed miserably. Rice didn't stick to the seaweed, the paper. It was just shit. And then we went down and we saw these cigar rollers, and I tell you what, I had a hell of a time at sushi. I don't know how the fuck I would roll a cigar. And these girls or guys are just rolling them one-handed, making sure they're
Right.
even, wrapping the end of it. And so do you guys use like, food glue at the end of it to kind of keep the wrapper on?
Yeah, that's so,
Okay.
a cigar is just tobacco, water, and then that gum glue stuff
Yep.
that holds it together. That's really all there is in a cigar.
Yeah.
So
The cigars work what's called pairs. There's a buncher and then there's a roller.
Yep.
The buncher puts all the tobacco together in his hand or her hand, and then they hand it to the roller, and the roller puts a wrapper on and does that little roll thing and wraps it up, puts the cap on the end, and then makes sure it's all nice and neat.
God, it truly is an art form.
So speak to
It
me
is.
like I've never I don't know anything about cigars. Why can't you have anything with? You said you couldn't have any Cuban cigars in it, or what's-
Cuban tobacco is still illegal in the United States since the embargo with John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
You can bring personal consumption back. So it's like $100 worth
Mhm.
of tobacco from Cuba if you happen to go, but you can't sell them here in the United States.
Yeah.
has it got up as the United States standards got up to the Cuban standards, or is it still like they're much better?
Personally, I like Nicaraguan cigars and Dominican cigars better than Cuban cigars.
Oh.
Cuban cigars are traditionally a lighter, less flavorful cigar.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder why there's. Yeah, that's weird.
Well, I think the popularity honestly came from the embargo.
Right? Yeah.
As
It's
a
a big thing because you can't get it.
yeah,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
consumers, we
Like
want what we-
underage drinking, right?
Yeah, we want what we can't have, and
Yeah.
then once you get it, you're like, that really wasn't that good anyway.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
really the difference between a cigar guy and a guy that smokes cigars. A guy that walks in and goes, "Do you have Cubans? I only smoke Cubans."
Yeah,
I don't want anything else. Well, this one's better than a Cuban. No, it can't be. It's
yeah,
not Cuban.
and specifically, like if you're trying to buy a case of cigars from Cuba, like Mike said, you can't get it here in the U.S. You can outsource it through another country and ship it in, and hopefully it doesn't get caught at customs. But
There's websites that
yeah.
specialize in that. You
Yep.
can get them. They're just expensive to get.
they are, and
Yeah.
truly, if you buy a Cuban cigar, it has to have the Habano label on it from the government, correct, to ensure that the quality.
They knock those off all the time. If you go on
Do
a
they?
cruise and there's some guy on the beach selling Cuban cigars,
You know it's
they're
not
probably
real.
not Cubans.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a question.
yeah.
Yeah.
For Big Dick Palmer.
Sure.
How many
I'm
cigars?
not going to show it to you. I don't care what
Josh,
Can you whip
just
that out,
upset
please?
Josh.
it's not that kind of show I was told.
Oh, it's family friendly.
You're about to learn. This is
Yeah.
after hours with
Right.
the Mainstream Podcast.
I seen you,
You guys
staring
all
at
do
those
first,
asses.
and I will.
Yeah,
You guys
I
whip
kn-
all yours out first, and I'll do mine.
I know when Josh's ass was in front of the
camera
camera.
doesn't zoom that far,
it
my
might have
friend.
Did something.
You asshole.
How many cigars do you typically smoke a day, or do you even smoke a cigar a day?
I usually don't smoke on the weekends, just for one reason or another. If I'm cutting the grass, I might have one in my mouth while I'm cutting the grass. Unless I go to a shop on the weekends or an event or something, I usually don't smoke. They're not addictive. So, but during the day, if I'm out visiting shops, because it's primarily what I do 2 weeks out of the month, I visit shops, try selling at the shops.
Yep.
There's one at every shop. It's sort of expected.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
walk in with I don't have it here with me. I have a little suitcase, humidor full
Yeah.
of cigars. And the thing is, you offer a cigar to them, whether they've already bought it or you want them to try it because they haven't bought it yet.
yeah.
So, and then I always have one, go, well, I will join you. I will have one too.
Yeah.
Right. So
If I'm working here, it's at least one, if not two.
I've
so-
dabbled in cigars a little bit. A question going back to you were talking about making them.
Yeah.
So obviously different cigars have different flavors.
Correct.
How do they come about the different flavors?
It's the different tobacco they put in it and how much they put in it.
Yeah. And
And there's also the buncher places it in a certain place. He might want, a stronger tobacco in the front, so it goes in the front of his hand. He might want it to run through the middle of it. They know when the blend is done, it's like it's a half a leaf of this, it's a quarter leaf of that, and they know where they put it.
and
Wow.
and when they're when they're drying out the tobacco and hanging it,
Yes.
it's the prevailing winds that will bring flavor and how it dries out and everything else like that. So
Oh, shit.
yeah, I mean it's I
Very
mean truly,
scientific the way it sounds.
If you never dealt or have dealt with cigars or smoked a cigar, everybody looks at it like it's just like a cigarette, nothing. there's actually so much that goes into this. It's like creating a fine bourbon. It's a
Yeah, there's so many
process.
chemicals and things in the cigarettes.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of tobacco left.
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's
And
a
you,
reason.
and you inhale those. Cigars you don't inhale. So it's just about bringing the flavors into your mouth, swish it around a little bit, and if you can retrohale where you can blow it out your nose, which gives you different flavors
Yeah.
than if you're just a mouth smoker.
Yep. Yep. Little dragon snort.
Hmm.
Right.
That's what my mom
After they
called it.
hang it, they put it in what's called palones, which are like these fancy piles, and then they age it
Mhm.
for, it depends on the cigar, they age it forever.
Yeah.
And then those palones have to be rotated and turned, and and then they keep track on a little clipboard somewhere, like, okay, we flipped palone number 2 today, so blah blah blah.
Man, I would love to see that whole process sometime. Just be
It's
like,
crazy.
"Whoa."
It's crazy.
I mean, I honestly, I hand up. I don't really dabble with them much, but it's very interesting to me. I mean,
I would say
I wouldn't have known. I would have been like, oh, someone's just shoving a bunch of shit in there, and there it is.
I'll send you a link tonight off of YouTube for one that I've watched in the past, and it's good. It's really good. So I would say so you said you don't inhale all the way, Mike?
No.
Okay.
No, you just take it in your mouth. You don't take it down in your lungs.
So
First, if you do, you're gonna throw up.
oh
eventually.
man, I love here for me, I actually like inhaling like the first puff just to kind of see how like robust it is and how much it burns. Like I said, I like a little pain.
Love
you
pain.
like
Little pain,
Love
little pressure.
Little pain, little
Fucking
pain.
standing like this as he's smoking a cigar.
Yeah, dude, Josh just unzipped his pants when he inhaled that. And thunk.
I'm not
Keep
gonna
an eye
lie.
on him. See if he's every once in a while just burning his hand, just so he.
Yeah.
Can feel.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I really do enjoy it. Now, again, we kind of go back to the logo a little bit here on the label, and it's a really cool logo. Would you ever get
Thank
that
you.
tattooed on you by chance?
I do have the Powstanie tattoo.
No
on
shit.
me.
You fucking did
Uh,
it.
Yes, they have. Before I was an employee of the brand, they have a thing called the Devoted. They sort of started because one of their brother-in-laws or something got a tattoo.
Okay.
So the size of the tattoo is sort of your ranking in the group of the Devoted. There's like 5 or 6 of us. So I got one bigger than everybody else.
All right. Let's
see it. Can you
is-
show? Isn't it a
hold on,
place
hold
where?
on, hold on. Is it on the big dick?
No.
Okay. Okay. Can you show it? Like, is it
That would-
okay?
That would just be silly.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, pain's not for everybody, Mike.
Woo!
Holy
Damn.
shit, that thing is huge.
That's what she
Yeah.
said.
And my wife actually paid for me to have it too. So again, she's like,
She's
it's all her
really.
fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Ooh.
mean, and does she know that do you tell other people that everything is all her fault? Does she know that?
Oh yeah, it's constantly when I do a show and they ask questions, I always blame her.
Okay,
And
great.
everybody
Awesome.
knows the story that basically she started the club because she told me to go find something to do and leave her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
how did the owners talk you into that?
Well, after I had Mike and Greg are really my 2 best friends.
Okay.
I mean, if anything happens, they're the first ones I call. Actually, I did this thing one time. I heard on the radio, this thing, and I did it one day. You pick 5 people, and then you call them or text them on the phone, and you say, "The police are going to call you, or the police are gonna come see you.
Yeah.
I need you to tell them I was with you today."
Okay.
Okay. So I did my mother, and she was like, "No, what did you do?" So I did my
mom.
wife, basically the same thing. She's like, "What did you do now?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I have 2 sons. My wife has 2 sons, but my 2 sons said the same thing. Like, "Dad, we know you. Something happened.
Yeah.
We're not going to jail for you."
Yep.
So I called Mikey, or I texted Mikey, and told him the same thing, and he just answered back, "Okay."
Yeah, that's a best friend right
that's a
there.
G
I've
right
seen
there.
I've seen viral videos like that before.
Yeah.
But like, hey, call up your homie and see if a girlfriend's like, hey, I'm gonna call your best friend to see if he'll stick up for you, and be like, hey, is so and so there with you? Yeah, he's sitting right next to me. What do you need?
Yeah,
Right,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, there's no questions asked.
Yeah,
there
that's
is
like
no.
What's the movie The Town?
the town.
Where he's like,
yeah.
we got to do some really fucked
whose
up
car we gonna
shit.
drive?
who's,
yeah,
whose car
yeah.
we taking?
Oh well, that's our thing. If somebody says I need a favor, that's how we answer. Whose car we take?
Yeah,
That's,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's just what it is. We're
that's
the 3
true
of us, so-
friendship, man. That's true
Yeah,
friendship.
I was sitting on the couch with an ex-girlfriend one time. We were having a similar discussion. And she's like, none of your friends would help you hide a dead body. And I'm like, bet. So I called my buddy Jake on speakerphone. He answers. I'm like, hey, if I had a dead body to hide, would you help me? And he's like, yeah, I have the equipment to dig holes.
Yeah, I had the excavator in
And
the backyard.
She couldn't believe it. She's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you guys? I'm like, yeah, we're
Well, we're fucking
good.
buddies.
it's like thicker than blood brothers,
We're-
you know.
we're
So,
good.
yeah.
I think Greg keeps a kit in his trunk just in case one of us call him. I think he's got a shovel, a garbage bag, some duct tape.
And hey,
gloves
yo,
or something.
and no offense, you're in Florida, so that shit could happen.
Throw that shit in the glades. Let them gators
Right,
take them
yeah.
out.
Well, you just tie it to a ham and just throw it out in the grill.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
So back to the BDP band. So
Yeah.
if you look at the band, we hid some dicks in the band.
That is awesome. What?
So if you look at it and then cut it right at the D, there's a dick on either side. This piece here and this piece here, and then that becomes half the ball sack right here. At the bottom. And then the little black thing inside the red, that's two dicks back to back too. There's actually a little ball sack.
Oh my god.
Is that on every label or is that just on the
Every
big
band. It's on every band. It's a standard design band.
No
I
shit.
love it.
I have a graphic artist who's a friend, and to get him to do this.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you had to pull some teeth.
So I'm explaining. I've known him for a couple of years. He's done work for me in my other business and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I need a cigar band with dicks on it. And then so he just sent me one that had little pink dicks all over it, like it was a
gag
thing
gift
for,
at a bachelorette party.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I'm like, no, that's not it. They need to be discreet, need to be hidden.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna
then he
put
did
these in
the next one,
stores.
and, yeah, they were still pink. So I was like, no, you still don't understand. You still don't have a grasp of this. And then he came out with this a third time, and we looked at it and we're like, oh, this is
Perfect.
it. This is perfect.
That is
That's-
hilarious.
It's money.
dude.
That's a little Easter egg. You know, that's like Jeep owners. They always have a little Easter egg on their
Yeah.
Jeeps.
Yep.
Mr. Palmer's got some Easter egg dicks on his cigar
There you
wrappers.
go. That's
I
right.
think he dropped
And
the ball.
we didn't tell anybody at first. We sort of just kept it a secret, and then after a year or so, it started leaking out.
Yeah.
And I would get phone calls like, "Okay, I can't find them. Where are the dicks?" Are?"
Are you sure there's only 3 dicks? I
Yeah.
see 4.
I think he dropped the ball. I think he needed to create a cigar that was a dick and balls that you smoked out of the ball sack. And the dick balls was coming
Well,
out.
see, I have problems with the name of the cigar anyway. There's certain guys that won't buy it or won't smoke it because they're going, "I'm not putting your dick in my mouth." It's a cigar. It's not my dick. It's not that big.
It's a very nice gimmicky name.
It's called
Yeah.
a Toro Extra.
Your
It's
dick's
bigger than
not
a
that
regular
big, or the
Toro.
cigar's not that big.
To be
We'll
determined.
go with the cigar.
The cigars.
Yeah. I mean, like, so
Keep the
how
legend
did
alive. It's all about keeping the legend alive.
I mean, your name's Mike, so how did I mean, I know your last name's Palmer,
Oh,
but
how'd
how
they-
did that
Right, yeah. Oh, you're very smart. You figured that part out by yourself.
Yep.
Excellent work.
this fucking guy.
So I was at one of the CIs in Tampa with Mikey, my partner, and Mike Rosales, who is one of the owners of Roma Craft Tobacco, which is they're both kind of a big deal in the industry. And I had my club was really the only thing I had at the time that tied me to the industry, other than I had met a few people through the shop or through Mikey and Greg.
Yep.
So we're sitting outside at the CI, and this car pulls up in the road and stops. This guy jumps out and jumps over the little hedge. It was about a 3-foot hedge. He jumps over the hedge. He comes over and he tells me his name. Oh, I'm in your club. My name is, I don't remember his name. I apologize to the managers. I can see his face, but I can't see his name. Anyway, so he shakes my hand, introduces himself, tells me what he's been smoking, tells me about an event he's going to.
Yep.
And, so not to be rude, I introduced him to the other two people, which I thought was a bigger deal than me at the time. And he's like, he shakes it and I go, hi, and then he turns back to me and he wants to talk to me more about what I'm smoking or where I'm going to be. So when he eventually left and, walked back over and jumped the hedge again, Mike Rosales looked at Mikey from Powstanie and he goes, Palmer just big dick does.
That is hilarious. I wonder how they felt. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, what the fuck? Does that guy not know who we are?
Yeah.
So you got
Mike's
big
partner,
dicked us.
Skip Martin. He's a big deal. He got word of the story, and then he called us and he said, "I heard the story." He goes, "You're now Big Dick Palmer."
oh
Big
my
Dick
God.
Palmer.
And it's stuck ever since, right?
It's stuck ever since. Yeah, it's when he said it, I'm like, oh crap, this is gonna follow me around for a little while.
Yeah.
So
Crap.
And
I
it got
mean,
shortened to BDP, which because nobody wants to say Big Dick.
yeah. So when you show up to those guys, are they like, "Hey, Mike," or do they, "Hey, what's up, BDP"?
It all depends who it is. Other
Okay.
industry people call me BDP.
Okay.
That dude.
So did you
That's
get
I'm
that?
fucking
like-
awesome.
Guys in the club.
What
call
a
me
nickname to
Pratt,
stick,
but-
right?
Right, exactly.
So did you get that tattooed on you by chance?
No, I've thought about it, but I haven't pulled that trigger yet.
Okay. What does the
Huh.
wife say about that one?
If I was to get the band tattooed on me, I think it would be okay.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
like the band with the dicks,
Yeah.
just very,
Oh, I
very.
like
With
that
the band,
idea.
the band just as it sits, somewhere
Yep.
on my forearm or something. On this forearm, I actually have the shop. There's a microphone there, or the podcast. There's a microphone there, and it's a Cigar Hustlers podcast, ACHP.
Oh no
Nice.
shit!
Oh, that's
So
cool.
on year 2, I got that because I was like, okay, well, this is obviously taking off. We're doing well.
Yeah,
I want to be able to, remember this.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And that's what
something like this falls apart.
That's what I think tattoos are. Ryan, we've got an actual. You could probably help us out with this, Mike. We got a challenge that Ryan took on himself. That if we 10x'd our followers on YouTube, our subs,
50,000.
if we get to 50,000 subs on YouTube, he's gonna
Okay.
shave his head and your beard, or just your head,
It's just my head.
just his head.
I was waiting to see what else you were adding in there. It's
He's
like,
got a wonderful
apparently now I'm
mullet.
shaving my beard and getting a tattoo and
No, and,
I was going to shave his head and get the tattoo on the top of his head.
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
No,
I
not
would-
happening. Don't
I
even.
would-
That.
Come on.
Is
I'll
it-
get
is
one
there
if
a
you
lot
get
of
one.
Take the hat off. Let's see. Is there like a lot of hair? Is it like
Oh,
a big deal?
yeah.
Yeah,
he's
he's
got
got a full-on mullet.
He's got a mullet.
Oh yeah. That's a kind
It's
of a
been
big
growing
thing
for
right there.
2019. I think I started.
Yeah,
right
it's
before
pretty
they're gonna take 20
majestic.
years.
It's pretty majestic.
Yeah.
You should see him on a golf cart flying down with the thing flapping. in the
Or an
wind.
inner tube behind a boat.
It flies in like it's a cape.
Yeah, wearing dude shoes, fucking hopping out with 1940s clubs.
All fucking wood ones.
Yeah, but I hit the fuck out of the ball with those things.
Imagine what you would do with a brand
Well,
new
you're a
fucking...
big dude, so
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. I think I'd probably get our tattoo, our Manstream logo. If we get to, when I'm not gonna say if, when we get to 50,000, you're gonna cut your hair.
Right.
I will. Should I go with 50 or 100?
I don't know, but I do know one thing, that none of us are going to want to be around for that, because you're going to be walking around with a major fucking hard on. So we don't want to be a part of that.
We'll send regular Mike to film it.
Pain is pleasure. Pain is pleasure, Mike. Pain is pleasure.
I guess.
Yeah, I'll do that. At 100,000, when we get to 100,000 subs, I'll get our tattoo.
Okay.
It's got to be in an inconspicuous place. It can't be
Like an ass cheek?
like an ass cheek. Well, no, yeah, I mean, no, I don't want my ass cheek
yes,
tattooed.
please, an ass cheek.
Yeah.
Dude, get man on one cheek and stream on the other.
There you go.
That's gonna make me look fucking gay.
Oh yeah, this is where the man stream goes.
Exactly. Oh no, that's a bad one. I'd probably just do it on my shoulder or something like that, or maybe on my calf. We'll see. But
So-
that's a good one.
So BDP, so this is your full-time main gig now, huh? Now you don't...
This is it. Yeah. 6 months ago, the guy started looking for a salesman. Mikey did all the sales and marketing, and Greg does all the money and the budgeting and the travel arrangements, all that kind of stuff. So they're looking for somebody. They talked to a couple of brokers. In the cigar business, there are brokers which have more than one brand
Yep.
that they represent. So when they go into a shop, they might have 15 or 20. I mean, it gets to be the good ones have a lot of brands,
Yeah.
which is good and bad. It's good for them, but it's bad for the brands because when they go in, it's whatever cigar is hot at the moment. It's going to be the first one they show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whatever
Yeah.
one they get the best in it. So if your cigar is sort of medium, medium heat or even not well, because I tried brokering years ago and hated it.
Yeah.
I had a couple of brands that were smaller companies because I was unknown at the time.
Yep.
And it was hard to walk into a shop and sell a cigar nobody had heard of before.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm
I mean,
sure.
that close to impossible. So anyway, so they tried a couple people. They interviewed some people. The broker thing just didn't work because they're not big enough to be up front.
Yep.
So we were sitting. They were a guy who owns a brand, Matt Booth, came to visit, and they're talking to him in the other room. And Matt's sort of a friend of us. So Mikey's telling them about the problems they have because Matt has different salesmen throughout the country. He's a bigger company. And he's talking about, well, we need somebody we can trust. We need somebody we know. We need somebody who's going to be invested in the company, blah, blah, blah. And Matt turns to me and he goes, well, have you asked Palmer? And my company had started slowing down. And I always knew that eventually the internet was going to kill my business anyway, sourcing stuff in China because
Sure.
you can
Just get online
you
and
can-
do it.
Yeah.
you can just get online and do it now.
Yep.
So I had sort of been looking for something. So Mikey, that afternoon, Mikey pitched the idea to me. He told me this is what they wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay. And he goes, but Greg wants to interview you. I'm like, I've known him for 10 years. He wants to interview me? He goes, yes, he would like to interview you tomorrow afternoon at 2:00. I'm like, Now I have to make an appointment to see him.
Oh shit.
So we had the interview, and to be honest with you, Greg was a little less certain than Mikey was. I'm closer with Mikey, and Greg knows me, and he didn't think that I couldn't do it. He thought I wouldn't want to do it.
Oh.
Because it involves being gone at night.
It
A
does,
couple of days a week you're on the road. If there's an event, you might be gone for the weekend.
Yep.
It's a lot of time in the car.
Right.
So 57 years old, I decided I was going to start a new a new chapter of my life and give it a try. And it's worked out well. I did the last quarter of 2024 and things went well and I'm enjoying it.
Awesome.
And they're
man.
happy with my progress. So
That's great.
yeah, that started. So before that, I did social media for them. I did social media for the shop. I did social media for the brand and for the podcast as sort of a side gig, a couple hours a day. You put up something stupid on Facebook or something,
Oh, we know all about that.
Advertising event. Right.
We
Yeah.
know
You
all
guys
about
put up
that.
a lot of clips and videos on YouTube. That's good.
Yeah.
We do.
Yep.
And some are hitting, some aren't, but it's you got to try to figure that algorithm out. It's always changing.
Yeah, it is. It's so hard to do.
And
It's changing every hour.
I think
seems like.
it's got to keep you on your toes, and I think that's what's crazy. It's like I'm a sales guy too. I'm in the health insurance industry, but I've been in insurance pretty much my whole life. So I'm with you on the travel. I understand where you're coming from on that, but I think as salesmen, we're always chasing something, always chasing some goal. And Mr. Steinis is actually a track coach, and so he's always running and he's always chasing something, which is the finish line and to get faster and faster. But like for us, we are chasing something. And every time I go onto YouTube and shit changes, it's like, okay, well, now we're chasing this. We're chasing to get monetized. We're chasing to get noticed. Like, what's the new thing? What's the it? And like, social media happens so fast nowadays that your hit idea might recycle itself in 24 hours and be nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's the hard part, is trying to figure out what the new trend is, or if you're popular enough to create a new trend.
Right. Try to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. And that's the hardest part. I think we've come to find out. So yeah, it's just one of those things that we'll never figure out. It's kind of like golf.
Oh.
I fucking love golf, but I hate golf. And I think anybody that golfs, and I assume you do down in Florida, Mike.
I don't play golf. I don't have patience for it.
Okay. That's what happens, is like,
Yeah.
you're always chasing something, no matter how many years you do the shit. Even professionals aren't perfect. And it's fun, but it's also a humbling experience at the same time to go out there and hit the links and think you're going to have a great round, and then you shoot like shit and you end up back at the clubhouse drinking a lot of bourbon and hopefully smoking a cigar.
Or you make that turn and you just get another cooler full and it's like, give me a glaze and I'm out of here.
Yep.
There's so many podcasts out there now trying to find a way to make yours stick out in front of everybody else's.
That's the name of the game.
Joe Rogan got the lightning to hit him, and then it's just hard to find that thing.
But you know what? He grinded for a long. I remember looking at one of his first podcasts, and it was in his apartment and his kitchen table before he was even successful making money at anything, even comedy. And it was shit. But, we're talking 25 years ago. And so it was one of the first podcasts online. So yeah, it's always changing, ever evolving. I think we've only been doing this a year and 2 months, Mike?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right around
year and 2 months.
Yeah, year and 2 months.
And as we kind of talked about earlier, we kind of are resetting everything in our studio, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. We're still trying to figure it out. And, the biggest thing is for like our shorts and our reels, like the way we had it set up previously, it wasn't working. We're always having to adjust things to edit it, to make sure the reels look good. And so we're trying something new. And I think this is probably the 4th or 5th iteration of our studio in 14 months. So
you got to keep changing. We keep upgrading the equipment, trying to make it look better, trying to make it sound better.
Yeah.
Like you said, the reels, we were both doing the reels, and it turned out Mikey was better at it than I was. He was getting more hits on his, so now I don't have to do those anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody finds their niche to the thing that they're good at.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the segments that we actually started doing recently, Olson brought it to our attention, and we've been doing it. Christmas movies, we've done football movies. Those are an IMDb list, and I don't think that IMDb has a cigar movie list. So what I kind of envisioned here is Ryan and Mike don't have really the knowledge about the cigar industry, but I'd like to go back and forth with you here on our top 5 cigars, if we can. Just to kind of see, what your flavor is. We obviously know you rep this company, and that's probably going to be on your list. But if you had 5 cigars, we'll pose it like this: if you had 5 cigars that you had for the rest of your life, and only these 5, and you didn't have access to any other brands, what would be your top 5 cigars?
Okay, do you want me to just run through my top 5? You want to go back and forth?
We'll go back and forth.
Yeah, this is going to be
right.
fun. I like that.
Now, I did, I'm not sure which version of the show I said this on, but Cuban cigars aren't, I don't, did I do it on this time or the first one? Because I have a Cuban cigar that's on my list, actually.
Yeah, rip it. We can do them.
No,
Okay.
I think we talked about. I think I asked this time around about the
Cubanos.
Yeah, why the Cubans? You can't have the Cubans.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's a Monte Cristo number 3. A number 2 is the standard one, really, but there's a number 3 out there that's a little harder to find, but it tastes so much better than the number 2.
Yeah.
Now, I was gifted that by somebody else, but all my cigars that I've got on my list were gifted to me in one way or another.
Okay.
Because basically I'm cheap.
Yeah. I mean, they're expensive. It's an expensive hobby. It really is.
Cigar guys trade cigars or give cigars.
Yep.
It's a unique thing about it where even if it's a $20 or $30 cigar, if you run into a guy and he goes, "Oh, look at that! I've never tried that before," you go, "I've got 2 of them here. Just take one."
Take one. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
No,
I mean, it just
absolutely.
happens, yeah.
I would
So, go
say,
ahead.
yeah, I would say my favorite. So you did Monte Cristo number 3, right?
Right.
Okay. So my favorite of all time, and it's just a go-to for me, is the Romeo and Juliet number 2. That to me is my quintessential cigar that I could smoke for the rest of my life.
Huh.
Yep.
And that's just a regular production cigar, if I remember correctly.
It is just regular production, not limited edition or anything.
I got a question before you guys keep going on. What's the difference between like 1, 2, and 3?
The numbers?
Yeah.
They're different blends.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Which is like so it has a different flavor.
Okay.
And so
they
there's
might be fairly close, but there's something that's different.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's different styles of cigars too, Steinus. So like he was talking about, these are Robustos, so they're shorter, they're smaller. They've got some Coronados, Torpedoes. Torpedoes are kind of like almost like what I had in the shape, where it's really pointy at one end, really pointy at another end, but it is a Robusto. I do like sometimes a smaller, shorter, fatter cigar. But there's sometimes like on that Romeo and Juliet number 2, it's a thinner ring gauge, a little bit longer. It's just to me, it's got a smoother draw for me.
Is it a Churchill? Is it about like?
Yep.
I don't know if you can.
Yep.
That's Churchill.
It's Churchill. So, yep. I would go with that one as my top.
Oh, I just have the top 5. I don't have them ranking in.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next, I'm going to go with an Toro Fuente Black Label Gran Reserva.
Oh, Jesus.
You can't buy this. The rep for Toro Fuente and JC Newman's a friend of mine. His name is John Oliva. He is actually from the Oliva tobacco family.
Is he really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, JC Newman has a factory over in Tampa that's still operational. It's like the only one left over there because Tampa's called Cigar City.
Yep.
But anyway, they have a vault downstairs, which he was given access to one day. It was a holiday or something, and they let him pick a couple of cigars. So he brought me this cigar from the JC Newman vault.
Wow.
So
really?
This is something So I carried the band around for a while trying to find it again. And next time he came in, I asked him, he goes, "You'll never, that's something neither one of us will ever see again."
Wow.
But it was really good.
To be chasing that flavor forever, huh?
Right, exactly. It's been so long now, I wouldn't remember. I just remember the band, and I remembered it was good.
Yeah. I kind of feel like a lot of people, when they first get into cigars or first try them out, everybody goes to like Cohiba. Everybody's heard of Cohiba, but they haven't heard of like all these other small. I know they're not small, but like mom and pop manufacturers and families.
Sure,
that have done
boutique
this.
cigars. they're referred to.
Exactly.
Anything that's made with $1 million or less.
Yep.
Yeah. So for part of our honeymoon, for my wife and I, we went to London, Paris, and Barcelona. And we went to Paris. We went on a tour, like a champagne tour.
Yep.
And it was like 3 or 4 different champagne places that make champagne, and there was 2 really big ones, and then there was like 2 really small mom and pop dog walking around, shitting wherever it wants to shit.
Yep.
But it was fucking phenomenal. Like the champagne tastes better than where like
Oh, anytime you get
It
it
was
from the
awesome.
source and you're as close as you can be to production, it's always going to be great.
Yeah, it was so good.
Okay. So Arturo Fuente, okay. I've never had that one, obviously, since it's a Black Label Reserve, and I'll never see the light of day for that one, will I, Mike?
No, probably
Yeah,
not.
okay,
And
okay.
I'll never see it again.
Yeah.
Okay. I was in London for work back in 2014, and I had the great luck to go to Edward. I think it's is it Hazakian?
I don't know.
The
Not
Davidoff.
familiar with many.
Davidoff.
Oh, the Davidoff Lounge over there.
Yep. We went over to the
Okay.
Davidoff Lounge, and I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into, but it's a really ritzy cigar place. So they sell a lot of different things in the boutique. But I had a Davidoff number 2, and that was a very good. And that was the first time, and I'll admit, before I went over there and met those gentlemen and had a cigar there, I always lit my cigars with lighters. Always.
Were you light them
And
with torches or something?
and
Matches?
and they told me that the proper way to light a cigar was with wood matches. And I guess it was always my mistake too, because I always drew through the cigar while the flame was lit. And they're like, that's totally incorrect.
Yeah, they say it'll change the flavor.
Yep. He's like, you're going to burn the oils inside of the tobacco leaf. He goes, what you got to do is you got to get, and these matches were like super long.
Right.
And you lit them, and they literally rolled them in their hands over the flame until every piece of the tip of the cigar was lit and all the rings showed. And then you could draw it in, and they would wave it around in the air to actually like get it to go and to draw a little bit and to make the it burn. But I'd never had a cigar lit like that before. And I tell you what, anytime I buy cigars now, I always ask for wood matches, and I try not to light them with a lighter just because it does taste different.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you light yours, Big Dick?
I've got like 75 lighters here.
With his big dick. Should we get you? I think that would be a great gift. Maybe we'll try to source that from China. A big dick that's a lighter.
That's a lighter? Oh, you could easily
Would you
find
accept that as a gift if we sent that to you, Mike?
Of course.
When my cigar came out, somebody anonymously sent me a big wooden dick bottle opener that they made. It's made out of wood. Handmade.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end of the dick, not the head, but the end of the dick, there is one of those metal round bottle opener metal things.
Yeah,
Yep,
to
I
pop
was-
it off.
It hangs in the closet at home, but I do still have it.
That's funny. We were in Greece 2 years ago, and we were walking down all the shops and everything. There was one shop that was just, that's what that shop was dedicated for, was big wooden dick.
Really?
Like, different things of wooden dicks. And there was a whole rack of wooden dick bottle openers. That's funny that he said that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna. That's actually my goal for the end of January, to make sure that I find a big dick.
That's a
I'm
lighter.
sure if you Google, there's a dick lighter out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think Ryan.
Etsy's got
I
that.
think Ryan could help me source something like that. He's a procurer of all things strange and unusual.
Yeah, I know how to use Google.
Big dick connoisseur, Ryan, are you? What's your number 3, Josh?
Probably a
He
rock.
ran out of cigars already.
No, I'm trying to think. Probably a Rocky Patel, 1990, and I'd probably go with Churchill. That was one of the first cigars I got introduced to on the golf course.
Hey, just so
And,
you know, on Amazon, there's a big black dick for $8.99. It's a lighter.
Put it in the cart. Put it in the cart right now. Put it in the cart. And
He's gonna go to his.
I'm gonna. When we gift on Amazon, we can actually put notes on it, right? When you
Yeah.
send a gift, okay,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna get a nice gift there. Here, Mike.
And in the description, it
You'll never
says
guess what it
vibrating
was.
penis novelty lighter, jet flame, rubber coated, vibrates when opens.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna love it.
Nice.
All
You're
right.
gonna love
I
it.
want to see that on the Cigar Hustlers podcast here coming up in the next couple
Oh,
of months.
don't worry, we will.
Fucking
Yeah.
A. Fucking A. Okay. Yep.
Except
So
because of the algorithm stuff, we have stopped smoking on the show, though.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that,
Yeah,
that makes
isn't
sense.
that
we
crazy?
noticed in the reels, if we're smoking a cigar in the reels we put up, they don't share it as much.
isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah. So we'll get like 1,100 or 1,200 views on a regular reel. If we're smoking in it, it's
Yep.
like 300.
Huh.
And it took us forever to figure out what the difference was.
Interesting.
And you guys determined it was the the cigar smoke then, huh?
That was the only difference. Now, Mikey's the only one that smokes on the show. I've done. Our show started with the two of us, but now we have a board op like you guys do. So
Okay.
I was always too busy to smoke or to keep the lighter going.
Gotcha.
And I do all the news for the show, and we do trending topics now. I do all those too. So I'm reading a lot more than he is on the show. He's more commenting and giving the industry information because he's more in tune than I am. So I'm always been too busy to smoke on the show. So I don't really smoke on the show.
Okay.
But he has quit recently for that reason. But hell, I'll say we got little tables like you guys. I'll stick it on the damn table. Let me
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're down to 3. I got 3. Mike, hit us with your fourth one.
My first production BDP cigar. I
Okay.
tried different samples and stuff, obviously, as we're making it, but the first one that showed up with the band, in the bundle,
Yeah.
the way it was going to be sold, that was a big deal.
That's
That-
awesome.
That's a milestone.
Well, yeah, that's got I feel like that's almost got to be on your list too, right? Something you can be proud of, and something that you've put your own work into, and you made, and it's your blend, and I feel like that's got to be on the list.
Yeah. Half Wheel is the big website for cigar news and stuff. That's where everybody goes. They're the most respected in the industry as far as press releases and stuff. If you go there and look, I'm in 4 or 5 different press releases, which is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So, and they did carry my press release when the BDP was released. So that
BDP, dude,
that
that is
I had
so
that
funny.
printed, but I
He's
never
got
had
the
it
whole
printed.
It is
state of
bad.
Florida saying BDP.
Ryan,
Right.
what would you
Oh
take?
no, my cigar's carried all over the country.
That's awesome.
That's freaking sweet.
Ryan, what would you take as a cigar?
You don't want to ask me, dude. Like, I don't know enough about them.
Whatever's
pick
handed
like
to
a
you?
brand, pretty much whatever's handed to me. I know.
So tell me a
Like-
Swisher, tell me a Backwoods, tell me something.
Well, I like sweet. Like, I
Okay.
like sweet. So those little bitty swishers that are flavored like cherry,
Yeah.
or fucking grape or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no problem burning those down all night long.
Yeah.
But like I do every once in a while, like to take. I call it a big fatty boomatty, the biggest fucking longest cigar I can find. Light it up and smoke it real slow, but the end you draw out of, I
Yeah.
will dip it in a really nice whiskey.
Okay.
And when you pull the smoke through it, it gives it that sweet whiskey taste.
Yeah.
So I've done that once or twice, but I don't smoke often. It's like a special occasion, wedding, new kid.
Yeah. Well, hey, hold on.
New Year,
Don't get
stuff
too
like
crazy
that,
because
but-
that's going to be part of our draft here.
Oh, is
Coming
it?
later.
Coming later.
Yeah,
coming later.
when I dabbled in cigars a little bit, and that was just, it always seemed like we would go to Dubuque and we would buy Acid brand
Yeah.
cigars. Nothing special.
Yep.
But
Did you say acid dipped?
No, they're called Acid.
brand.
No, acid made by Drew Estate.
I'm
Would
just
that be
kidding.
something?
They weren't bad for the price. I mean, they were cheap.
Yeah.
They sell a lot, and they have a guy on a motorcycle on the outside of the box. Bikers love that flavor
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything that they can give a biker.
Now, I will say when I was in high school, so I went to Mexico with my dad when I was in middle school, and he bought 100 hand-rolled cigars on the resort we were staying on. Like, watched the guy roll them and everything, and they were
Right.
nice. Boxed them up, brought them back. Came back up my senior year, and he still had some in his humidor, like his last 3. And me and my buddy and my half-brother smoked his last 3 hand-rolled cigars from Mexico.
Ooh. Was he mad?
He was pissed.
Well, I'm sure.
Well, he's more.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot more than just smoking those cigars going. But I mean, he like, I guess they're super good, and he paid a lot of money for them, and they're hard to get back. But I don't know. It was fun. We enjoyed them. So that's the extent of my cigar knowledge.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
yeah.
like, did he really say Swisher Sweets? But I like them.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a buddy of mine that all he does is smoke backwoods.
Yeah.
And I always ask him, I'm
That's
like,
what I started with. I started with
backwoods, the wood tips.
Oh,
Yeah.
Backwoods, I don't think have wood tips, unless they do now.
They
those
do
are
now.
black and mild.
They
huh?
do.
They
No,
do.
the Blackwoods got wood tips now. Backwoods, there's a version that have wood tips on them. And then Casey, I'm gonna drop his name. Casey also smokes a lot of the Swisher Sweet 2-packs. Any flavor. I think he likes grape the most. But I'm gonna kind of deviate from like what I'm gonna say are real cigars. I really love like cigarellos. So if there's an event that I'm going to and I don't want to nurse a cigar for the whole time, or like on the golf course, it's almost like a part-time job when you're out there making sure that the cigar stays lit, it doesn't go out.
Right.
And
Yep.
so for me, I really enjoy Ashton. They've got some mini cigarellos. And and I think it's a Connecticut wrapper on there too. But I really enjoy Mini Cigarello, so I would have to say the Ashton Mini Cigarello.
A lot of the big companies make cigarellos. They come in the little tins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love
And
them.
it's the same blend as a bigger Ashton.
Yep.
They just make it in the smaller size.
You guys
and
don't
just-
dabble into that little stuff?
We carry it here. I'm been known to have one also. LFD makes a really good one. Davidoff makes some good ones.
Yep.
When you need a quick smoke, or like from my shop to the house is 10 minutes. So sometimes I'll light one up in the garage as I'm walking out and just burn it as I'm driving.
Yeah.
Next, we'll see the line of the LDPs.
Little dick. I don't
Oh.
know. That one seems like it'd have a different connotation. It wouldn't be as legendary for me.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
it definitely it would hurt the BDP. That's for sure.
Right.
That's for
I
sure.
do want to come out with a second one where I reverse all the colors.
Okay.
So where it's black, it's red. Where it's red, it's black.
Okay.
And I would call it sex tape. BDP sex tape.
Oh,
I love that.
That's a nickname I have around here because I'm so good with the social media. Mikey always says, we call him sex tape because he's going to make you famous.
That's fucking awesome.
So
Maybe
he would
you
have a secondary band underneath the BDP band that said sex tape on it.
yeah,
I love it.
Maybe you should just like the line of cigars just be called after you BDP sex tape. Really, just come out with your own like
complete
gimmicky
line,
name
yeah.
on each one of those. I like it.
Not a bad idea.
I
I
like
like the
it.
name Morning Glory, but somebody's already used it.
Yeah, that is a good.
That is a
name.
good one.
That is a
that
good
cigar
name.
just came out, and I was like, "Oh, son of a gun, that would have been good."
A day late and a dollar short.
Yeah, the BDP Morning Glory, that would have been great.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, all right. All right.
I'd
Let's
smoke one of those.
Yeah, let's hear the fifth one of yours, Mike.
All right. I met a doctor down in South Florida who loves cigars, and he turned out he was the personal physician for. Okay, I'm trying to think of his name. Justo Iroa, who is a famous cigar maker in Cuba, to the point where he's not allowed. Cuba will not let him leave without a special visa.
Oh,
No shit.
So this doctor gets flown over there sometimes when he's sick or for a checkup or something, and he would take care of Justo and then be flown back. So he had two houses. He had a small house, which was like a guest house, and his main house. So in the guest house, he turned one of the bedrooms into a humidor.
Ooh.
So like he
Whoa.
walks you into his private lounge, and it's sort of like the head in Batman. He lifts up the head and pushes a button, and this wall goes, slides open.
Are you
and
kidding me?
and it's all glass with a small door.
Wow.
So he had what are called farm rolls, which Justo would give him that are special cigars that you cannot buy, that you can't get unless you're there. That Justo rolls from the tobacco that he grows on his farm that he doesn't use or something. I don't know.
Wow.
But that's another cigar that I've had that I'll never see again.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you got two like
Dang.
big hitters there.
yeah, I mean, how are you
it's-
gonna top
it's
that,
not like-
Josh?
it's not like something I'm ever gonna see again. It was great to have it. I had the
Yeah.
memory of it and,
Yep.
and the experience, but I'm never gonna.
And that's
see
what
that.
cigars are about, just like watches.
Sure.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
And that's why he's called Big Dick Palmer.
Big
Exactly.
Dick Palmer.
Exactly.
Well, he does this for a lot of people. I wasn't the only one he's ever had in there.
Yeah, but
Hey,
still.
Big
Apparently,
Dick,
he'll
take the
let
compliment.
industry people spend the night in this little guest house, and drool over the glass wall.
Oh
because
yeah,
you can't get in without his fingerprint, on the lock type thing.
that's fucking baller.
the type of money
Yeah.
that I will never ever understand.
Yeah, me either. Whatever.
that's fucking sweet.
Yeah. My last one is probably going to be what these guys know mostly. It's the Al Capone cognac dipped sweet mini cigarello.
Okay.
That's the one I switch to and that I go to on the golf course. I do that one. I probably get 3 packs every 2-3 weeks, probably a pack a week. And those are tasty. I enjoy that. And kind of like you said, Ryan, about you dipping your cigar in whiskey or bourbon. This has a cognac dip on the wrapper.
I've had one before.
Yeah. And so the ends are sweet. And that's what I kind of really like on the golf course. Just something I can, smoke one hole, maybe go 2 holes in between, rip another one. I might have 4 or 5 on an 18-hole course.
Okay, so quick question before we move on.
Yeah.
Italian mobsters always are smoking big stogies.
Yeah.
What is the typical stogie that they would smoke back then?
Like the brand or the style?
Yeah, but brand. I mean, was there a
Oh,
typical?
who knows? It could have been. Odds are it's probably a Cuban cigar
Yeah.
Yeah.
back then.
You're right.
I know most of them were Churchills.
Well, you'd think like that's all that stuff is like during Prohibition, no
Yeah.
alcohol either. So
Yep.
you got booze that wasn't allowed to have, and so why wouldn't you have Cuban cigars
Yeah.
that you're not allowed to have too,
Yeah.
right on top of it? So that makes
Cooler,
sense
more
to me.
badass if you do the stuff you're not
Well,
supposed
back
to
then you could probably get a Cuban cigar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely could.
do. Right.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. That's a good question. I guess I've never seen any bands or rappers on these cigars to show what they were, but I would guess
And it might be a brand we've never heard of.
It
or
could
seen
be.
either, so.
if I had to guess, guys with money like that, mobsters.
Whatever they wanted, probably.
I don't know. I would say the Romeo. Would a Macanudo be in there? No.
Maybe back then. I don't. I'm sure there were Cuban Macanudos.
Yeah, probably I would say a Cohiba then at that point. Something popular. That's my guess.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to take a quick ad break from our next sponsor here, Mike. Lit Up Midwest, Adam Kafer. The holidays are over. However, year-round lighting with Lit Up Midwest. So give Adam a call. We're going to run his ad here, and we'll be right back in a sec.
Am I the only one that didn't know you can light up your home year-round? Let's talk about Lit Up Midwest. Imagine 16 million lighting combinations, 250 colors per sequence, nearly invisible by day, dazzling by night. Perfect for holidays, parties, or just to make your home stand out. With a one-time installation, enjoy up to 20 years of custom.
And we appreciate the ad, Mr. Adam Kafer with Lit Up Midwest, your permanent lighting solution out of Farley, Iowa. When you give Adam a call for your estimate on your home, mention the Manstream podcast. Adam will give you 20% off his services, which anytime you get 20% off, man,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a deal.
Anytime you can get anything that's free these days, you got to take it. And
Yeah.
like you said, I mean, the holidays are over, but it's any light combination that you want. So
Anything.
if the Hawkeyes are playing, if the Florida Gators are playing,
If your Texas Longhorns are
Yeah,
playing
the
Ohio State.
yeah, or Easter's coming up, or
Valentine's Day.
Mike talks about the fire shop when they turn it.
Oh,
when
yeah.
They get a call, they turn on the lights, and
Yep.
that's really cool. Any combination you want. So I
Absolutely.
mean, it doesn't have to be a holiday. You could be celebrating anything. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many pre-built lighting configs there are too.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, Hanukkah, you name it. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Veterans Day.
Yeah.
There's all different combinations.
That's
or
awesome.
disco party. I mean, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
Or just straight up white if that's your classic look.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mike, we're at the segment of our show here where we do our draft. I kind of gave you a prelude to it today as to what we're going to do. We're going to keep cigar themed here. This is going to be tough. There's 4 of us. And what the theme of this draft is moments in life where a cigar is a memorable experience. So think about it for a few moments. I hope you guys, even though you don't smoke, there's still moments in your lives that you would say, "Oh, we just won the state track meet for girls. As a team, I'm gonna fucking rip a cigar."
with my students.
Not a
I'll
chance.
give one to everybody. I've got plenty.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
Come on,
like,
girls, let's all line up.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, wait till you're home. Wait till you're home. But those are the experiences, and that's really like Mike
Light
touched
that
on.
up on the bus, Mike, on
Yeah.
the way back.
yeah.
I think
Hey,
the bus
girls.
is smoking,
It'd
dude.
be I've waited 10 years to get the head coaching job, and it'll be all over in,
How's my
in
driving,
1
man?
year.
I think we're parked, dude.
Josh, that was a terrible example.
Yeah. That,
Well, I know. I was just giving something
that
that
definitely
nobody
won't
would
make the draft.
I didn't want to select something that we were gonna take, so that's why I picked the
I
track
might just pick
championship.
Smoking with children was top on my list.
So what we'll
Can't use that
do? What we'll do? It's a snake draft. Mike kind of told you a little bit about it. You're our guest. We're gonna let you go first. We'll go Mr. BDP. We'll go Steinus, myself, Ryan, and then Ryan will have another pick, and we'll work our way back over to you, Mike, and we'll finish up with 5, and then once we're done, when this goes live, we'll go ahead and we'll pop those drafts on social media. And we'll let the audience vote and our followers, and hopefully you'll share it with your podcast audience and get some engagement from them as well.
All right. I'm going to start with after a big meal.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's always good to smoke on a full stomach. You have less chance of getting what they call oh crap, what do they call it? Nicotine poisoning.
Yep.
So after you've had a big steak or something, the flavors in your mouth still from the steak sort of blend well with the cigar.
There you go. There you
Wow,
go.
that's a good pick.
Yep. Mr. Steinus.
Me, I'm gonna go the place where I've seen it the most, and that's a golf course.
Okay. All right.
I know it's probably on your list, Josh, but I golf league on Thursday nights, and there's always somebody there roasting a big old stogie with a stogie clip on the golf cart by the windshield. And
Yep. The magnets.
Yep.
I hear
I'm
you.
gonna say the golf course.
All
You're
right.
outside, nobody complains.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just the freedom.
And they smell good.
They fucking do. They do. I was scared to let people know at work that I smoke cigars, and I was on my Kansas trip a couple months ago back in November with my boss, and I asked him, I said, hey, we're on the golf course. I go, do you mind if I smoke? He goes, no. He's like, I don't smoke, but I absolutely love the smell.
Yeah.
He's like, my dad smokes cigars, and it brings back a memory that I haven't had for many, many years. And I said,
wow.
oh, that's fucking awesome. Cool. So mine would be having my kids. Every time I had any one of my three sons, my wife, apologies, every time she delivered one of our sons.
Yeah, buddy, don't take credit for that.
I always went out and celebrated with a cigar, and they were all surprises for us. So we didn't know boy, girl on any of them. And so that was to me like a memorable time to be able to enjoy a cigar or relax before the shitstorm.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Yeah.
Were you a guy that passed out cigars to all your friends and stuff when you had one?
I did. Yep.
Good
Yep.
for you.
I always bought a case, and I always bought it the year. And so here's one thing I did. Here's one thing that's memorable to me. I always bought a case of cigars, and I always did the Romeo and Juliettas, the number 2s. And so I actually saved 3 cigars out of each of those cases and kept in a humidor. So when they turn 21 or have a poignant moment in their life, they're before they get married or when they get married, they can have those cigars just like watches. So I've got 9 cigars in a humidor ready for those kids when they get older. Hopefully they're still good.
Should be.
Mikey's got 3 kids, and when his second son was born, when she was pregnant, he made a cigar called the Apollo Danny.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a boy, the name was going to be Apollo, and his wife agreed. If it was a girl, it was going to be Danny.
Okay.
Oh.
Now it was a boy, so she said, "No, we're not naming him Apollo. His name is Justice." But he has enough of those cigars where he can have one every year. I think Justice is now 8 or 10, something like that. He's not that old, but he has enough where he can have one every year till Justice. At the time, 18 was the age. Till Justice turned 18, and then he had 2 left for that year where he could smoke one with him.
There you
Very
go.
cool.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, those are good times.
Nice.
All right, Mr. Ryan Reed.
I'm gonna say, at a wedding, like after the wedding, like the reception.
Okay.
All the groomsmen get out there. The fathers of the groom, bride, all that. All the men pop out to the patio and smoke a stogie real quick.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely a good time.
Oh, I get another pick.
Giving all the groomsmen, like you said, a little set where they get a cigar, a lighter, and a cutter, maybe a flask. That's a good gift for groomsmen.
It is,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Or like a whiskey glass too. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep. And then my next one, just if you're, I did this several times growing up because I had access to a hot tub. But if you're just chilling in a hot tub, like nice relaxing night,
Yep.
cigar, glass of whiskey, or you know, something like that, just chill.
So I got to ask because mine was a pool. Is that out of the question? You said hot tub.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as a hot tub, but sure,
let the
you can
people
pick it.
decide, I guess.
All right. So
We
mine.
do that in Florida.
Not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
Ladies
gonna go swim in a pool.
Yeah, but
with a
your pools
cigar
are
in my
probably
mouth,
hot
but-
tub temp.
Sometime.
Mine would be Mine would be
The hard part is keeping one hand dry.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's the
when you
hardest
do
part.
that.
Yep. Mine would be swimming in a pool with a cigar and having a scotch or having a bourbon along with it.
Okay. Second pick, I'm gonna go bachelor party. You got all your boys together. You're all hanging out.
That
You
was my
got,
next
you
pick.
know, you don't have anything else to do besides get fucked up and get into some stupid shit.
Yep.
You know, there's there's not the other side telling you shouldn't do something. So I'm gonna say bachelor party with the boys.
All right. That's a good one.
All right, I'm gonna go with relaxation time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
End of a long day or something. My wife smokes cigars, and now she's an assistant principal. She gets home from school. I'm still not allowed to talk to her, but she'll go out on the patio and she will smoke a cigar and she will watch Days of Our Lives.
Oh, these
Nice.
are the days of
And
our
then-
lives.
So I'm not allowed to talk to her for that hour the Days of Our Lives is on while she has her cigar at the end of the day.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
helps her unwind.
Yeah.
You just opened up a core memory, dude. I used to
Sands
watch
through-
Days of
Sands
My
through an hourglass.
Yeah.
It's our-
I used to
Days
watch
of
Days of Our Lives.
Everybody
My
watched
mom.
that with your mom when you were sick.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The
Unfortunately.
same people are on it.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it
Yeah.
crazy? Now they're
Sammy's
just-
not
I mean,
dead.
Now they're just
the
old.
lady's like 90 years old and she's still on there.
on it.
She's died 4
Marlena
times.
is still on there as Marlena.
That's crazy.
Victor Kiriakis just died in real life, so his character's gone.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's
But
unfortunate.
that's okay. They have his son on there now, who is like Bobby Kiriakis or something like that. So
He's the backup main guy now, huh?
he's the bad guy.
There you go. There you go. All right. Number 3, Mr. Big Dick Palmer.
Oh, another one. We already did milestone. Do we do milestone achievements?
Yeah, you can rip those.
All
Yeah.
right, milestone achievements.
Okay.
Completing a big project, landing a deal, or achieving a personal goal that you've set for yourself.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Gosh. I'm gonna go.
He's on Google.
No, I'm gonna go.
Chat GPT
No,
was.
I'm gonna go like just having a smoke with your dad.
Fucking asshole. God, that
What do you
was my
mean,
next
asshole?
one. That's
Father-
a good one.
That's a
Father-
fucking good one.
Father-son
If you're
Yeah,
mad that I picked it,
Uh,
that means it's a good one.
I know.
I'm gonna
My
say
dad, I always wanted to do it with my dad before he died, but he wouldn't light
wouldn't
one up.
smoke.
yeah.
with
I
you.
just think
No,
like
he
I've
was-
never
no, thank you.
I've never done it with my dad either, but I think that would be a good time to do it. Just hanging out with your dad, shooting the shit, talking about good times.
My dad was the one who introduced me to cigars.
Oh well, I'm sorry I took your pick, brother.
No, you're good. You're good. And so yeah, it is every Father's Day. I would always get him a really nice cigar. I would get myself one so we could go outside and share it. So I appreciate that pick. I'm pissed that it's not mine. I would say anytime I'm drinking, sitting back and having a good bourbon or a good scotch, always needs a cigar. I remember when I was on the finance committee here when we were doing our bond referendum for the first and second time, we'd sit up in Al Smoke Shack. God, what's his last name? Al Ernst Smoke Shack. And Tom Meyer, myself, and the newspaper guy, we'd all sit out there on Thursday nights, and newspaper guy would drink a case of fucking Miller Lite, and Tom and Al and I'd sit there and sip on scotch and smoke cigars for a couple hours, and
Nice.
that's always a good time.
Nice. I'm gonna say, man, I just had a great idea, and it just,
I went to my anecdote, and it took too long.
yeah, you started rambling, and
I know.
somebody must have flushed a toilet. My idea went right down the fucking drain. Well, I mean, as you guys know, Mike probably doesn't, so I race cars in the summer, dirt oval. Don't say anytime you win a race, it's a great time to light
Yeah,
up a cigar.
Absolutely.
A victory cigar, you know.
Yeah.
And then, here it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
There you go.
smoke a
Now's the
cigar
time.
On,
Yeah.
on New
Celebrate.
Year. Celebrate the New Year, the end of the year, and the New Year.
Yep.
Have a cigar.
New year, new me. Light it up.
So I'm gonna do one here, and I'm surprised Ryan didn't pick it, but Mike, you probably haven't seen, but Olson, who's behind the screen on the computer, and this gentleman are hobbyist pyrotechnics in the summer when it comes to
Semi-professional.
semi-professional
Yeah.
pyrotechnics, and they do go to our YouTube, and one of the episodes we linked Mike's YouTube channel in there, and they have a hell of a fireworks show every July. And it's way, honestly, it's better in our towns.
Yeah.
It really is. And our town spends a lot of fucking money on it, and these guys do it for probably a fifth of the price. But my dad, when we used to light fireworks off when we were kids, he'd always light a cigar because that was the only thing that would stay lit long enough
to light your
to light our
fireworks.
fucking
Oh, to light the
fireworks.
fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for me, anytime I go, like when we lived out in the country on the acreage and we have our fireworks shit and our 4th of July party, I'd always light up a fucking cigar before we went out there because like these guys are like, oh, these blow torches, these lighters aren't working. I'm like, boys, I got you. Boom, here we go. So
Nice.
yeah,
It's like the old Western where the guy lights the dynamite.
yeah,
Chewing-
pretty
he's
much.
chewing on a cigar and he puts the dynamite up to it and then he throws it at somebody.
I still
Yeah.
haven't figured out how to light the match on my whiskers though. I don't think
You
that
gotta
actually
get light
works.
you gotta get light anywhere matches.
I don't think that actually works.
It's a scruffy beard, not a beard like we have. It's not a soft beard. You got to be scruffy and you got to have that special cigar with the little tip on the end
yeah.
where you can
Wow.
light it on like a brick or anything else.
Right.
Yep.
But imagine that has to hurt.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't fucking feel good at all. You're burning
No.
yourself.
Right.
All right.
Okay,
Silas.
my turn. As much like BDP said, at night after dinner, I think probably after breakfast.
All right.
After breakfast,
All
you
right,
have a
Breakfast cigars.
breakfast cigars. You get down your breakfast, and you want to go out, sit on the
That's a
front
thing,
porch with a
people do
cup of
that.
coffee and puff on your cigar and look out into the abyss. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, a cigar with a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. You can't beat that at all.
Oh, dude, it loosens you up and just.
Listen to that.
But
Listen to that.
seriously, if you got a shit, it's a cup of coffee and a cigar, and you're just loose as can be.
Okay.
It's
Like the
true.
problem is holding it
Sounds like I
long
got some great fucking picks.
He keeps looking at his phone. I think he cheated.
I think
No,
he
I'm
is
not.
Too.
I'm just like,
I think he is too.
no, I'm not.
It's
I'm
okay.
just giving you-
Give him a
he's ju-
break.
He's just checking.
fine. Don't
Checking
worry,
the
I got
Ohio
all mine
State
off
Texas
ChatGPT.
score, and Ohio State won.
He didn't win last week's draft, so
Yeah.
he's a little upset.
All right, Mike, your 4th and 5th picks here.
When you win the Super Bowl, if you're an athlete.
All right.
Yeah,
They always,
yeah.
they
dang
always
it.
light up in the locker room.
They do.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
That is a good
So the team that won the World Series this year, they actually
Dodgers?
smoked one of the cigars we represent, the Senzafina.
Oh, really?
The Senzafina cigar. Yeah. These guys are their spring training is done in Arizona, where these guys are based at, and they got in with some of the players. So when they won, they lit up a Senzafina. I actually have a poster somewhere here in my office of the guy holding the trophy, or maybe it was hockey. I don't remember. No, it can't be, because hockey doesn't do spring training.
No.
So it had to be baseball. Like I said, I'm not a sports guy.
What?
But there's a picture of them smoking the cigar, holding the trophy.
That's awesome.
That is
Hell of a
awesome.
marketing campaign there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really is. Wow. That's a good one. All right. Last one. Make it a good one. Not that they haven't been good.
Oh, he said they're not good.
No, they have been good.
I got one. When you win your football thing and you get a big giant ring,
Fantasy football league.
fantasy football.
You might as well mail him that ring right fucking
Yeah,
now.
buddy.
Just send it to him.
Seriously, when I got this in the mail, I went outside and I'm not gonna lie, I had one of my Al Capones and I'm like,
Looking at it, yeah, you're
isn't
just
that
looking at it.
fucking?
Man,
and then
I'm
I
so
and then I even
cool.
blew,
Blowing smoke
I
on
did,
it to
and then
make
I
it
blew
yours.
smoke at it. Jesus fuck! It's like, you know what I did,
It's like
man.
you
I
got
love
fucking
it.
security cameras right there.
Oh, there's Mike behind the soundboard. We love
That's
it.
hilarious.
We love it. All right, Stein, this last one.
Oh man, I'm kind of running out, to be honest.
The track one's still on the board, bud.
I'm not taking that. I really wanted after you said after a kid. I wanted that.
Dude, when the doctor tells you can't have them anymore because you've gotten too old.
Okay, I'll do this. I'll do this after you've had your vasectomy and you know that you can't have any more.
Oh,
about that?
That's a pretty good
There you
one.
go.
About
That's
that?
a pretty good one.
Yeah.
That is pretty good one.
Recreational only, sweetheart. Here we go.
Yes,
I-
that's right. That's right. Blowing. Not even gonna go into that.
I've not been. I will have to say this is. I've not been unfortunate or fortunate enough, however you want to look at it, to have had a divorce yet. But I've had a number of friends of mine who have been divorced one or two or multiple times, and every time they're like, "I'm gonna go have a cigar after that." And I'm like, "What are you celebrating?" He goes, "Freedom."
Well,
I would
they
say-
can be
I'm-
messy, right?
I'm
Yeah.
on my third wife, so yeah, I've had 2 cigars for those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
So
you
you've
go.
had some freedom smokes, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second one more than the first one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Ryan, finish us out here.
Freedom
I'm gonna-
smokes. I'm going to use that for marketing.
Freedom
There you go.
smokes. That's fucking great.
Smokes. Did you just get divorced? You need a freedom
The
smoke.
BDP freedoms.
Yeah. Another line.
Oh,
A Churchill, very big one.
The
very, very big one.
BDP divorcees.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna end us with a bang, literally. After a good night of sex,
Oh,
good day of
Oh
sex.
yeah, that's a good one.
A good day, whole day.
Only problem with that is you got to go outside.
Yeah.
I mean,
Put a robe on.
it just
I mean, if
depends.
you- if you
Sometimes
could-
you need to air out the room anyway. So.
Yeah.
If you can
For
do
sure.
that and light it up in the bed, you're a bigger baller than I am.
Right.
So I'd say a few picks
Sorry,
of
honey.
mine.
Was that good for you? I have to have a cigar.
Few picks for me would be a deployment victory after deployment,
Yep,
or
there
when
you
you
go.
get your papers to go home.
Oh yeah.
After fighting a big fire, to sit down and relax and do that. And I was gonna joke around and say one like Ryan, but when you lose your virginity,
Oh, I never thought about that one.
That's fucking hilarious.
Depends on the
16?
age, I guess.
Or yeah, I mean, if you were 24, Mike.
Yeah, 'cause you have
Who,
to
me?
be 21 now, according to the government, to have a cigar.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's
I never thought of
21
it.
to have a cigar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no longer 18.
Yep.
I thought it was
Wow.
18.
No more 18. They
They
changed
switched
that
it up.
2 years ago.
Yep.
Wow.
Would it have been wrong to say a funeral?
No,
No,
I don't think so.
No, that would have been good too.
Like
think a funeral
celebration of
would've been good.
life.
Especially
Yeah.
if you have a cigar that the guy who died really enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I know some couple of people we race with that they don't smoke cigars, but they chew on them nonstop. And like when they're in the
some
shop
of-
working
some
on
of the
shit, they're just
old-timers-
chewing
some
on
of the
that cigar.
old-timers
You
chew
know,
on them like crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when they're focusing, concentrating a lot, just fucking chewing away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that wraps up the draft.
Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
who won last week's draft?
You did, dickhead.
I think, yeah, you did.
About
Dickhead.
time.
He just wanted you to say it.
Yeah.
he did.
He did.
100%.
He's a fucking,
It's been like 2 months since
I've
Mike
gotten
won
a
his
feel
draft.
for you guys over the last hour or so.
you fucking jabroni. Nobody cares. That's the only one you win all year. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right.
Figures the guy who runs our social media most of the time wins the draft on social media.
All right.
All right, Mike, we appreciate you coming on. That'll kind of wrap
Certainly.
everything up for us. We really do. Again, appreciate the
pleasure.
cigars. You have something special launching, though. You mentioned to me on our last call here in January. Is that right?
Save that for after our
There's a
next
rumor that
sponsor.
we have a new blend coming out of San Andreas cigar. There's a rumor that it might come out in the end of January.
Okay. We're going to take our last sponsor break here from 1-800 T-Shirts, Mike, and then we'll come back on, finish it up, and we'll get you out of here, okay?
You got it.
All right.
Let's face it, you want your business to look professional, but your custom apparel just isn't cutting it right now. Well, at 1-800 T-Shirts, we're not going to let that happen. We got a whole team of in-house designers to elevate your brand and your image into something you can be proud of, for your customers to wear, for your employees to wear, and to love. We've got an exclusive offer just for the Mainstream podcast listeners. Go to 1-800tshirts.com/Mainstream and get your business branding kit for free with your first order. We're only going to do it for the first 10 people. Go to 1-800tshirts.com/Mainstream.
One. All right. Thank you, 1-800 T-Shirts. That was Tom Rowan on there. He gave us a hell of a ad. What he's doing for all of our listeners, if you go to 1-800tshirts.com/the-mainstream, the first 10 customers are going to get a free branding kit from him and his graphic design team for your small business, large business, doesn't matter. Our live link to our store should be up tonight.
Let's go.
So tomorrow morning,
Get you some mainstream merch.
everybody will be able to go to our store at 1-800 T-Shirts, and you'll be able to get T-shirts, hoodies, and hats, stocking caps. I don't know if we did those. I think we just did hats, but we can always add. So if anybody needs anything or requests something, we can add that to the store. Not an issue whatsoever. Brian's been great to work with over there, and Tom. So go to that link. We've linked it in the description of the YouTube video, and click on that. Get your free branding kit. It's over a $500 value. They're giving away for free for you guys. So
Wow.
if you need a logo redesign, you need some new shit for work or for your business, hit up 1-800 T-Shirts. I'll hook you up.
I'm pretty sure they could come up with some pretty badass designs for, BDP.
Yeah, might be able to.
Ooh.
Just saying.
There you go. Maybe click on that link, Palmer.
Maybe. That sounds like a great idea.
Yep. All right. So, again, we kind of hit on it a little bit before the commercial, but tell us a little bit about a potential cigar then that you guys have dropping.
We haven't released any details about it yet. So,
Keep it
What's
hush
the
hush.
what's the rumor?
What's the rumors? What's the mill telling us?
it's a San Andreas wrapper. Connecticut broadleaf is being hard to find now in the industry.
Okay.
So we had to come out with a new core line item when broadleaf becomes too hard to find for production. So, and that's industry wide. That's not just us who can't find it. So
Okay.
we've come out with a San Andreas, a new band design, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, very cool.
Okay. So
We'll have to look for that when it drops and give it a try.
all right. So here I'm going to give you a little bit of hopefully some information for you to take back to your team in regards to your San Andreas.
Okay.
I think all the guys my age, we all know San Andreas from Grand Theft Auto,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
And I would think that if Grand Theft Auto is dropping a new game of Grand Theft Auto 6 August of 2025, that would be a hell of a cigar to drop midsummer before the release of the new Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
Because I think it was it 2 or 3 with San Andreas? Mike?
San Andreas was 4.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
San Andreas was like between 3 and 4.
Okay. But I would think that would be some
a good
marketing tactics there for you, Mr. Palmer, to
Something to dabble in.
That's a great idea.
to
I
grab-
don't know how fond of the idea they would be.
well,
but,
you know, pitch it to them, see what happens.
yeah. See if you guys want.
You can
Let them
get away
smoke
with
the cigar
anything
in the
until you
game,
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You never hear no until
We
you
are
hear
looking for
no.
our first cease and desist letter, so
Oh,
Are you really?
we haven't got one yet.
Well, that's good.
Well, there
That
you
is
go.
good.
Which we're really surprised, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
we give away some behind the scenes industry stuff on our show,
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
and we have a Patreon show that people pay to listen to.
Yep.
We have some guys listening to that. On that one, we review a cigar and we tell you some things that they obviously don't want you to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
don't think they can stop you for just sharing information
No,
about a
no,
cigar
well,
they
you know,
don't want to
that's-
tell. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we use this line. You know, what are they gonna do? Fuck with our pots and pans? So we have nothing for them to take. So,
Right.
you know,
There
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
So good luck to you. Sue us. See what you can get.
There
Right.
you go.
Yes.
There you go.
We don't take advertisers, and we can barely afford the equipment. So
my
Yep.
wife always says that you can't sue somebody that doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you can. You can.
Yeah, you can. They just can't get nothing.
You
Right.
ain't getting shit.
Right.
Right, you ain't getting shit.
Well, on that note, Mr. Palmer, we appreciate you coming on to our show tonight amid all the technical difficulties that
Thank
we've
you. It was a great time.
Yeah, that we've
we appreciate
we've
it.
unraveled here. So we again appreciate the gesture of the cigars. Look forward to a big black dick lighter coming in the mail soon to you
From the Mainstream Podcast.
from the Mainstream Podcast, and yeah, hopefully we can see that on the Cigar Hustlers podcast here coming up soon.
Yeah, next week we do our shows on Monday and they come out on Tuesday. So next Tuesday, this will definitely be mentioned as something that has happened here recently.
Beautiful,
Very
beautiful.
cool.
And when you guys put it up tomorrow, tag me in the links and I'll share all the links also.
Absolutely,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
You
And
got
we've
it.
got in the description we've got all of your links to your socials, the Cigar Hustler podcast, as well as to your company. So you know, if
Perfect,
there's
thank you.
anything that's on there that we're missing, feel free to shoot that over to me and we'll get that on there for you. But we appreciate you coming on, taking the time. I know you're an hour ahead of us down there in Florida, but it was a really, really good time to learn about you, your company, and your podcast. So again, we appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing more from you here in the future. Okay.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good
Thanks.
one, Mike.
All right, guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Ryan. You want to give us the unruly outro?
Yeah, I can do that. One thing though before we
Yep,
go.
let's touch on the live
one
show.
Thing, one thing. We're a week away.
We're
Yeah, we're
fucking
getting there.
week
When this
out.
drops.
Oh God.
1 week away from On Tap, a live podcast event brought to you by the Mainstream Podcast in coordination with River Ridge Brewery in Bellevue, Iowa. Come on out and join us at River Ridge Brewery in Bellevue at 1 o'clock on the 18th of January. We'll be in the house. We'll have 5 other live podcasts joining us. We're all going to do a segment. We're all going to do a show in front of the audience interactions, and encouraged.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cool stuff to give away from some of our sponsors. I know Vans kicked in some stuff. Good
Good
Boy
Boy.
kicked in some stuff. I know we're kicking in some stuff. It's
Yep.
going to be a good-ass time. I hope to see everybody out there. January 18th, 1 week away, next Saturday. I'm
Yeah,
excited. You guys
should be
excited?
a fun time. Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
fucking
it's getting
pumped.
closer. It's getting, and you know, time is dwindling down. I talked to my mom. She's like, "There's some side by side rides that day." I'm like, "Listen, the main show."
That's easy. All you got to do is stop by.
Yeah,
we
stop
got
by.
cold beer.
Yep.
So that's all I got. Final closing remarks. Mike behind the computer. He's scrolling,
He's
Good.
scrolling. He's ready for the outro.
hitting buttons.
Mike, wave goodbye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We are the Mainstream Podcast. Good night.
It's where you want to be. We'll discuss the latest trends and the news of the day, and we'll tackle the tough topics in our own special way. So if you're looking for a place to escape and unwind, welcome to the Mainstream, we're one of a kind.